I'm Mark Goldbridge, and this is the United Stand. Lots and lots to talk about, loads to talk about. We had our little mid-transfer season break this morning. There was no transfer daily, and in many ways, I think that was probably the right thing to do because I think many of us were getting quite tired, and to be honest with you, I was in no fit state to do a show this morning. For those who watched last night, I don't remember most of it, so I hope you don't, but the Chinese did arrive. That's all I can say. So, where to start tonight, or today, or this morning, or whenever you're watching it, because we are global, and that's what Manchester United's all about. So, 2 deals to be done this weekend, apparently. 2 deals apparently dead, and then a couple of other players to talk about as well. So, drop us a like, get involved in the community, I know you will do, and have your say. Trung Hoang says it's getting boring. Do one. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you want to listen about Manchester United and what the latest transfer news is, watch. If it's boring, don't watch. Free world. We're not a communist country, and we're certainly not a communist channel. Freedom of speech, freedom of watching the channel. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you do, boom, let's do it. So the 2 deals, obviously, if you've seen the thumbnail, you can pretty much guess yourself. James Rodriguez and Alvaro Morata. Now, the latest in relation to Alvaro Morata is he's gone back on honeymoon. What does that mean? We're not signing, we are signing him, he's staying at Real Madrid, he's not staying at Real Madrid. We've signed him and we're waiting for him to come back from his honeymoon to release the details of the deal because he's got to have a medical and be unveiled at Manchester. I think he's on honeymoon for another week, so is it going to be another week before we know about Alvaro Morata? I mean, whatever is happening with Morata, I think if United have sorted a deal out, they need to do a holding statement. I mean, they don't need to do anything, they don't need to listen to me, they don't need to listen to you. They don't need to do anything, but I personally, I think there's been a lot of maybe unfair frustration from fans in relation to this transfer window because it only officially opens in about 3.5 hours time. But the Morata deal's been going on for a long time, and I think fans are getting a bit uncertain about it, and certainly in relation to the Griezmann deal, which everyone knows that's what we were trying to do, for it to fall apart at the last minute, I don't think anybody is totally sure that we're even getting Morata. There was talk of Lukaku again this morning. They'll have to find his first touch first. But the thing about Morata is if he has gone back on holiday as they're reporting, then just do what you did with Lindelof. Release it about 8:30 tonight or tomorrow night and say, Morata is a Manchester United player pending a medical and he'll be officially unveiled in a week and a half or whatever before pre-season training. Everybody's happy and we get 2 bites of the cherry then, and I hope that's what they do. I certainly think if he has gone back on his honeymoon, then something's been resolved. But there is always that doubt that what if Real Madrid at the last minute offered him the world and he's going to stay at Madrid? I mean, I still think it's a slim chance, but maybe that is what's going to happen. So I think they should release a holding statement like they did with Lindelof. The second deal, James Rodriguez, I would be very excited if we were going to sign James Rodriguez. And again, it's not just fans talking again. I think ESPN mentioned it and a couple of others today that the deal is done. It's now sorting out a fee. I would welcome James Rodriguez and his wand of a left foot, but I've never felt that was the deal we were going for. So I'll be pleasantly surprised if it does happen. And a lot of people keep reporting that we are in for James Rodriguez. It'd be an interesting one if we did get him because we've got Pereira, who I think is going to be a fantastic player this season given the opportunity. We've got Juan Mata, we've got Mkhitaryan, and then you'd have Rodriguez. And they're all similar sort of players. None of them have got blistering pace. They're all very creative, but none of them are blisteringly fast. I think they're too, without being identical, they are too similar. So I would suspect one of those, maybe you'll put Pereira on loan, I don't know. Maybe it's Sal Mata, which would be amazing. But yeah, that one would surprise me. Let me just take some of your comments though, because I want to know what you think if you... I have seen it, United all the way. I'm doing okay, United fan, I'm doing okay. I was very tired and a little bit drunk last night. But I think I did okay. Ordering a Chinese when you're doing a live stream. Don't stream and drink, or don't drink and stream. Yeah, definitely don't do that. I'm not drinking tonight. No way. Nothing runs smooth when dealing with Madrid, says Happy Ricks. And let me do this then. We'll do this from Nick Archer. He says, don't think Fabinho is over. If not Fabinho, then we might get Lamar. Just have a feeling we are signing someone from Monaco. We've done good business with them, a la Martial and Falcao. I think we might do some business with Monaco. I think it's realistic to think that. Just to let you know, then let's do the Fabinho thing. I wanted to sort of bring it in as well quite soon into the stream. Canal Plus are reporting that the deal has been done with PSG for Fabinho and Pepe. Pepe, I think, is a free agent from Real Madrid this summer, so well, we certainly don't want him. But Fabinho to PSG would be very, very, very weird, really, because Monaco and PSG are based, you know, I think Monaco won the title last year, didn't they? And PSG are their big rivals, and Monaco are, you know, hemorrhaging players, and then PSG are going to buy one of their better players. I thought Monaco would be trying their best not to let that happen, really. And especially when we're linked to him and Manchester City are linked to Fabinho, for him to go to PSG, the only thing I can think of is that PSG have done what they've done in the past and just blown everybody out of the water in relation to what they want to pay and the wages they're going to give. That's the only thing I can think of, because Manchester United, without being certain, it certainly appears that we were bidding for Fabinho. I think it was Di Marzio released it about a week ago, didn't he? And amongst others. So I think there is an interest from Fabinho from Manchester United, and if he does end up going to PSG, we clearly haven't followed through on that interest enough to go high enough to sign him, one, and two, maybe he's not at the priority that we've sort of heard from Mourinho. But I would be disappointed, but as things stand with Fabinho at the moment, he does, I said it to Jordy today, he's starting to feel a bit like Ramos, a bit like Fabregas, Ronaldinho of years ago, Ozil, Schneider. He's the player that the fans, Vidal, he's the summer signing that the fans want to make. I mean, I know he's not a world star like Griezmann, but the Griezmann deal, we thought we had it and it was taken away very quickly, so we didn't have time to sort of get frustrated about whether we're going to sign him or not. With the Fabinho one, I think it's a shame, really, because it reminds me of the Vidal sort of signing, in the fact that they are sort of centre defensive midfielders. Vidal maybe not so much, but certainly in Fabinho's case. So it's not like, you know, Arsenal fans would not get excited about a centre defensive midfielder because they've only got half a brain. So, but as United fans, we've got a depth to what we know about our club and football. So a centre defensive midfielder is actually a really important signing for us, because we see that position as a key position that needs to be resolved this season. So Fabinho, for many people, and I said it as well, he's almost the most important signing if we'd signed him, because he fits what I want Manchester United to do in that position. He's quick, he's good at breaking up the play, and he's good on the ball. And I think that complementing Pogba and Herrera and whoever else is in them positions, whether it is a Rodriguez or a Pereira, he would be absolutely perfect in my mind. We've got to back what Mourinho does, and if he feels it's Matic, then I think Matic will do a good job, but he will never be quick. And I think in the modern game, as I've said so many times, when you look at Kante and Wanyama, first and second in the Premier League last year, they've got a centre defensive midfielder who is quick, tenacious, breaks the play up. And I think you do need that in the modern game. And some people do level it at Mourinho, that is he really up to speed with the modern game? At times, his midfield that he sets up does get swamped through a lack of pace. And we did see that against City, didn't we? The Etihad, and in the home game back in September in the first 45. So I think you counter that by getting somebody with, you know, who is quick, and Fabinho certainly is quicker than Matic or Carrick. So I would like that signing to have been done. If it happens, fantastic. If it doesn't happen, I think we will look at that signing, and it's always dangerous, and I don't know how much weight the club or Mourinho puts on what we think as fans. I mean, the cynics would say they don't give a damn. Part of me thinks that they must be aware of fan opinion. I mean, these are big brands, and they want us to be happy. Surely they want us to be happy, because if we're happy, more money comes out of our pocket. It's logical. So, but I don't think that they look at what we're saying about Matic and think, oh, we better not sign him by any means. But they'll be certainly aware that there is a big swathe of United fans that want Fabinho. And can you manage a club off fan opinion? Of course you can't. But to be honest with you, if Van Gaal had looked at the fan opinion in his last 2 years, when all the fans were saying pick Herrera and Mata and he was benching them, then I think he'd have had a better, more successful career. So don't ever knock fan opinion. I think there's always going to be extremes, and we're always going to get things wrong. But as a collective, fan opinion is very, very accurate a lot of the time, and there's a lot of fans who feel we need Fabinho. But if he goes to PSG, he might just go because we've blown out the water. Like I say, £50 million. Should we pay that for him? Part of me says he's overpriced, but part of me says it's not our money, and he's the sort of player we need. Unfortunately, Ed Woodward is driven by the Glazers, and they might say we're not going to sanction that, get somebody else. Which brings me nicely on to Perisic, Ivan Perisic. Now, he is a divider of opinion. Before I come to your live comments, he is a divider of opinion. Now, there was meant to be a D-Day, which is today, 3.5 hours away, in relation to Ivan Perisic. This one seems to have been going on all month as well. I think we started the transfer window, the transfer sort of June, very optimistic. I think even at the start of June we thought Griezmann was still coming, if I correct right. So, and we're going out of it with a whimper. I know we came out with Lindelof, but the last couple of weeks have been a tough one. And a lot of people are right, the transfer window doesn't open till tomorrow, but I don't know whether you're annoyed by this, but I am. Every day I seem to see on the Manchester United Twitter account and other accounts, on this day 3 years ago we signed Valencia, on this day we signed De Gea, on this day we did this, on this day we did that. Stop living in the past. We're not Liverpool. Stop living in the past and announce something that's happening this year. Announce these signings, because all it's doing is, to those people who say, oh, it's not even the transfer window open yet, it's showing exactly what we all said 2 months ago. Mourinho will get his business done early, because he always does, and we've not got our business done early, have we? And I totally believe that Mourinho would have wanted at least 2 or 3 signings by now, and we're going to end June with 1. So yes, you're right to say the transfer window opens tomorrow, but I don't for 1 second think that's the plan. I think things have gone not to plan. I think Mourinho would have wanted 2 or 3 signings done, like I say, and if you follow Manchester United, that is backed up by the amount of tweets that have gone out over the last 2 weeks. On this day we signed this player, on this day we signed this player. And just for those who are interested in that, tomorrow, this time last year we signed Zlatan. And I remember all through June we were getting really excited about signing Zlatan and Mkhitaryan. So it is late. We are late, considering Mourinho didn't start his job till July the 1st last year, and he's had a whole year at the club and a whole summer. I am surprised by the lack of signings, and I know some people, like I say, they don't worry about it because it's only July the 1st, but I vividly remember the transfer window last year, and it was around this time last year that it started seriously about Paul Pogba. And, that felt late. We'd already got Bailly, the Mkhitaryan and Zlatan rumours had been going for a few weeks before they actually signed. So it is late in the day. As much as people don't want it to be, it is late in the day. It will only not feel late in the day if we get Morata, Perisic, because we know those deals have been going on for a long time. You sign them and it's like, well, we've known about them for a long time. What are the new ones? But it's July the 1st tomorrow. It's July the 2nd on Sunday. I did say last week that I fancied 2 deals to be done by Sunday night. I wouldn't be surprised if we come out of that with none, but why can't we announce deals on a Saturday? In fact, I remember being in London last year, and it was a Saturday when Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger sort of got released. Was it Friday night, then Saturday? Not the official signings, but I'm pretty sure they happened very close together on a particular night. So I'm hopeful that we will be live later tonight. We might be live tomorrow at some... Well, we will be live tomorrow, obviously, but... I'm hoping we're going to be reacting to a signing. On the point of Ivan Perisic, anyway, the longest point I've ever made. Ivan Perisic, the way I read it is this: we have been driving a hard bargain there because they had to pay £30 million financial fair play. They found the money elsewhere by selling other players. So that gamble didn't work. Whoever's behind that, Woodward, Mourinho, United, whatever, whoever's dealing with that deal, it's backfired. We could have signed Perisic 2 or 3 weeks ago for 45 million. We obviously didn't want to. We thought we could get him for 30, and now I think Inter Milan have said that if they don't sign Perisic by tonight, he's being taken off the market unless there's some silly offer of 60 million. So we are going to end up in a situation where we don't sign Perisic, or we sign him for overpriced. And if we do sign him, you know what's going to happen. The press and everything will jump on and say United got done over there because they've spent weeks on this deal. They could have just done it weeks ago for what they've paid. So expect all that. Do I want Perisic at United? I don't know, because I don't know what the alternatives to Perisic are. If I'm totally honest, I don't know what the alternatives to Perisic are. I like Perisic, 28. He is quick. He's tall as well for a wide man. He is the definition of 2-footed. You pretty much can't tell which is his stronger foot. He is very creative. I think, as I've said many times, if we signed Perisic, I know a lot of people don't want him, but he would end up being like Herrera and Valencia. He'd be like a fan favourite without being like the star player. And I firmly believe that would happen. But I understand why some fans don't want him. I don't know what the alternatives are. I mean, Felipe Anderson at Lazio, Lucas Moura at PSG, Douglas Costa at Bayern Munich. They could all be better than Perisic, but at the end of the day, they could be worse. So I would be happy just to get a Perisic deal done, because I am starting to feel that this is getting late in the day now. And I know it's only July the 1st tomorrow, but when you just compare it to last year, this was late in our transfer window last year. We've been, like I said, we've been talking about Zlatan and Mkhitaryan for at least 2 weeks at this stage, and they both signed in the next few days. And it was starting with Pogba around now, and that was our last signing. So, and that dragged on for a long time. So I'm slightly worried. I do like Bernardeschi 3 stacks. I don't know whether Mourinho will go for such youth, but there is nobody confirmed at the moment. There's nobody confirmed at the moment. I know people are jumping at the moment and saying things are confirmed, but they are not. Fantastic job you're doing with United Stand, says Francis. I believe Mourinho wanted to have 1 or 2 signings by now. Let's bring in James Rodriguez and Morata. Well, I'd throw that to you. I think as much as we might be slightly frustrated by this transfer window, it can change around very quickly, and I do think it will. I do think it's starting to get a bit late in the window, but I'm not one of those people who think this is a disaster window. I've heard people saying this is the worst transfer window since 2013 under Moyes, and I don't think it is. I think there's time to get it done. I just think it's going to be very congested in the next 10 days because we need to get these signings done before the transfer window. And let's not forget, we're not even talking about people going out the door yet. It could be ridiculously busy over the next few days, because next couple of weeks, because you can have Rooney going out the door, Januzaj, a couple of others, and because I don't really want them to go on the tour if they're going to be sold, because they're just taking someone's space. I mean, Angel Gomez could go on the tour if Rooney doesn't go, if you know what I mean. So we need to create spaces for the future. But as was said there, we could do Morata, we could do Rodriguez, we could do Perisic very, very quick, and then you've got 3 signings plus Lindelof 4. Those 3 signings could be done any time. They could be so far advanced that we are just dealing with fees with Inter Milan, with Real Madrid, and those deals could be done very, very quickly. And you go from 1 signing to 4 very quickly. Then you bring a centre defensive midfielder in, you've got 5, and is that our business done? I personally would be very happily with Lindelof, Morata, Rodriguez, Perisic, and if it's Matic, it's Matic, but Nainggolan would be fantastic, Fabinho, because they all, as we've said many times before, I'm not going to go over it, as we've said many times before, they do cover a multitude of issues within the Manchester United squad. I still think there needs to be more business. I think we need a backup striker, but I would be happy with that. But how long is a piece of string? People are saying, when will these happen? Well, we don't know, do we? We don't know. And but they've got to start happening soon. They've got to start happening soon. There is no way we will leave this window with just with Lindelof and keep the squad the same. That would be unforgivable. Nathan Woods on about something. Dave Miller says that he still thinks Ronaldo will be the surprise signing. I think there's no surprise with Ronaldo. I really do think that he will stay with Real Madrid. That made me laugh. I'm just having a quick look that there isn't any news, and there isn't any news. And if there is any news, we'll always tell you. So don't worry about that. Well, I have sort of mentioned the player, so I will mention him again. Raji Nainggolan of Roma. Nothing new to report there. Roma are doing quite a bit of business. Chelsea have tried to get Rudiger from Roma as well, so they seem to be losing a few players this year. We'd all like Nainggolan. I think he's so perfect for the Premier League in relation to his tenacity and brilliance in breaking up the play. He's brilliant at it, absolutely superb. But he's also good on the ball. He'd be tailor-made for the Premier League. I think he's the closest thing to Roy Keane in the modern day. And I know he's 29, but we've got a player who can be like that. And his name is Timothy Fosu-Mensah. But I think Fosu-Mensah needs to work with somebody who is close to him, like somebody who is tenacious, who is quick, and who is fairly decent on the ball. Nainggolan's like that. People like Matuidi, Fabinho, they are like that. It's alright people saying, well, he can just learn from Matic and Carrick. He's not that sort of player. He'll learn certain things from them, but Matic and Carrick are slow players. So they are very much intelligent about their positional sense, because they can't just go chasing the ball. Fosu-Mensah can do that. So it's alright picking up the fact that, oh, I can read the game like Carrick and Matic, and that will serve him well. But Carrick and Matic can't teach him how to go and chase the ball down and what angle to run at the ball so that you are closing it off. he'd learn that from, like I say, like a Nainggolan or a Kante or a Fabinho or a Matuidi, someone like that. That is what I think is really important for Fosu Mensah's development. And if you did get somebody who's 29 like Nainggolan, then he's only going to be here for 2 or 3 years, and that'd be perfect for Fosu Mensah. But if you're asking me whether I think we can do it, I do think he'll stay for Roma, although there was talk of Inter Milan putting an offer in. Well, if Inter Milan think they can get him, then we should be trying to get him, really, because we can offer more money than Inter Milan can. And yes, thanks for all the nice messages tonight. I am reading them as I'm going along. Renato Sanches, I must mention him. There was a report out, I think today, saying that Renato Sanches wants to leave Bayern Munich, not getting enough game time. As I've mentioned many times about him, Mourinho a year ago wanted him at Manchester United. Obviously Van Gaal ruins that deal, and Mourinho got in too late to get the deal done. He said he would have gone all out for him if he'd been here. He said he'd scouted him more than United had, and we know United scouted him a lot. So he liked him a year ago. Let's be honest, he liked it. Raja, sorry, it's Raja. Nainggolan. I'm rubbish at the names. Some would say I do it on purpose, but I make no comment about that. But yes, so Renato Sanches a year ago was certainly a player that Mourinho liked, certainly a player I liked. I mean, I've not done my FIFA career mode for a long time, but my midfield too is Sanches and Pogba, because you've got the energy and the ability on the ball. I think Renato Sanches a year ago, as I say, was potentially one of the best midfielders in Europe in the next few years. He's had a bad 12 months. Has it been so bad? Are the rumours about his attitude true? Because if that has been fed to Mourinho, he won't have any interest in him. If he's still the player that he can be, that he was 12 months ago in Mourinho's eyes, then Manchester United may be interested. And as I've said before, whoever comes in as the centre defensive midfielder, I do think we need to bring 2 in, because we are light. A lot of the time we will be paying... We've got Pogba, Herrera, an ageing Carrick, a poor Fellaini, Fosu Mensah. That's all we've got. 5 players to play effectively what might be 3 positions over a whole season. So you bring 1 in, I think we need to bring 2 in. And as I've said before, I quite like the idea of Renato Sanches, Ross Barkley. I'd be ecstatic with Nainggolan and Fabinho, or Nainggolan. I wouldn't, you know what, if we're getting Matic, as long as we get another one, I'll accept it. So if we got Matic and Nainggolan, I'd still be very, very happy. Yeah, so yeah, I would be happy with that. But for those who've joined us slightly late, apparently 2 deals done, Morata and Rodgriguez. We'll see. We'll wait and see. Morata's gone back on his holiday. I think the club should announce it if we're signing him, because at the moment there's a lot of fans who are getting a bit tired and fed up with the transfer news. So you as the club have got the power to boost that. You know, just announce it. Say, pending the medical, Morata is a United player. And do it tonight or tomorrow, and everyone's going to be really, really happy. Rodriguez would get everybody excited. I would be excited by Rodriguez, to be honest. I really would. And Fabinho looks like he's going to PSG, which would be frustrating, but you can't expect the signings to always be the signings that you want them to be. And we're all long enough in the tooth to know that managers don't sign the players that we want to sign. Perisic, I still think Perisic can be done. I just think we've left ourselves in an odd situation there, where we played poker with Inter Milan and we had the worst hand, and we've now got to see. We now either walk away petulantly and say, "Oh, we're not having him," or we just we take the L in a way. We pay what we pay, and we get a player who, no matter what United fans think about Perisic, he clearly is Mourinho's target, and I want Mourinho to get his targets. What I would say is, and I've not said this before, if Woodward, and I don't think he definitely has, but if Woodward has messed this transfer window up, don't expect Mourinho to be quiet about it, because Mourinho is the master at not getting the blame for things, and he will make it clear, even if it's subtle in a press conference. If this has not been the transfer window that he wanted it to be come August, he will let that be known to the press. He will feed it out. I remember him doing it at Chelsea, and he will do it. And it happened the season he got the sack. He didn't get the signings for Chelsea that he wanted, and he made that publicly aware. So he will do that. So I think at the moment you've got to give Woodward the benefit of the doubt, because it's still very early days. And there is a lot of criticism for him, which I always think has been quite unfair on him, which I've mentioned before, so I'm not going to do it again. But if it hasn't gone to plan, Mourinho will feed it out, because he won't want it to be on his shoulders that he's not got the players he wants, which is why I want him to get Morata. It's why I want him to get Perisic. They might not have been my choice, but they're Mourinho's choices, and I don't want him to be getting third or fourth choice. I want him to get the first choice, because then we can really measure, has he got the measure of Manchester United? Does he understand what we need to do? And I want Mourinho to be judged on his #1 choices, which would be nice. Thanks for the comment, Mike Dye. Let's have a look at somebody else's now. I think I've covered everybody I wanted to talk about, so we're going to take some of your comments now. Daniel Lewis says that Perisic deal is dead. We don't want Ross Barkley, says Luke Wood. What do you think of Michael Keane to Everton, says Ladito Crab. What do you think of the Lukaku rumours resurfacing? Michael Keane to Everton is about right for him. I never felt he was a Manchester United player, but I do think he could do a job for somebody like Everton. I'd have took him as a backup. If we were going to sell Jones and Smalling, I would have took Michael Keane, but Lindelof's the right man for us. As for Lukaku, if we signed Lukaku, I would back him, and I would back Mourinho, but I can't see why we would. And as everybody knows, I do have my fears about Lukaku. I think he's a big game bottler, and his first touch is worse than my brick wall. So that would concern me. You want the ball to stick with your #9, and it bounces off him, and that would kill a lot of our movement, especially when you've got players like Mata and Pogba and Herrera who like to play a quick ball into the #9. If it's not going to stick, it will kill a lot of our moves. Any De Gea news, says Poyel Pants Down. Nothing about De Gea. I know he sold a house, but I don't think that necessarily means he's moving. It's a very good point though, because what I forgot to say when I was talking about Rodgriguez and Morata, if we got Rodgriguez and Morata and we don't sell De Gea, Woodward deserves a medal, because to get two players of that quality out of Real Madrid and not give them the goalkeeper that they really want would be very, very good. My concern is, if we do take Rodgriguez and Morata, does that mean we're going to lose De Gea? And especially now Donnarumma looks like he's staying at AC Milan, that leaves us in big trouble, big trouble in relation to a replacement keeper. Tyler _17 says Nainggolan is a heavy smoker, so I don't want him. I don't think the smoking's going to catch up with him, to be honest, until he's in his late 30s. You can still keep yourself fit whether you're a smoker or not. I mean, it's not ideal, but I don't think it would massively cause him a problem. The press would be all over it in the UK. They'd vilify him. So whether he'd come here for that reason, I don't know. All the greats of the 80s and before smoked, says Arrowell. Well, you know, it does impact you, but as long as you're training every day. I'm not advocating smoking, by the way, but I don't think it's going to make him a hell of a lot of difference. It certainly hasn't done so far to his career. Herrera to Barcelona, I can't see that happening, Saban. And homegrown rule, hence Barkley, Bale and Dyer. I think we're okay for the homegrown rule though, aren't we? You know, even people like Pereira are classed as homegrown. Fabinho is quality, Matic is crap, says Fortune. I think that's a deja vu moment. I'm sure I was saying that last night, and I'm sure it was you who was saying it. There is mod savagery tonight, says James B. I hope there isn't. I don't really like that sort of thing, but then again, maybe people need to have their comments taken down. But I'm not a big advocate of that. I like to let things flow, but there are some things that need to be deleted, so, you know, stand by them. Like the video, says Liquid Hill. Yes, please do like the video. We had no dislikes when we started. We've had 30 since, and all I've done is give my opinion on the Manchester United transfer news. So maybe we've been bombarded by jealous, bitter rivals who have no decent content for their clubs, and they're just jealous. Gungshi says the modding's like the Royal Rumble tonight. And Mark, imagine a midfield three of Pogba, Verratti and Nainggolan. Would be very good. Verratti, I think he will go to Barcelona, but Owen Luke just says Barcelona are struggling financially, and why not capitalise on that whilst we have the money to sign him? Look, Owen, I don't know what you think, and I don't know what everybody else thinks, but there is a part of me that is just hoping deep down that there is deals there that just... What I would say is, look, everyone's either going to be very right, and we will sign Morata and Perisic and either Matic or Fabinho, and that's been reported pretty extensively for the last few weeks. And, you know, we won't be bored, we'll be happy, but, you know, that's what happens. Or it could be totally different, and we'll sign players that nobody ever knew. I mean, remember Eric Bailly last year? We haven't had that Eric Bailly signing that I was saying all through the season. Remember we were doing videos in March and on the international break, and I basically was just going through a load of names in European and world football saying who will be the Eric Bailly signing. I don't think Lindelof's the Eric Bailly signing, because we were linked to Lindelof in January, we know about Lindelof, we know about Morata, we know about Perisic, and we know about Matic, Fabinho. So there is, where's this? There might not be one, but I feel there will be a shock signing. There'll be a shock signing of, oh, no one ever saw that coming. And at the moment, we haven't had it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that shock signing will be a star signing. I just think it might be a player that we've not been linked to at all, who's just totally left field. And I get the feeling that is possible because the amount of people who've contacted me over the last 2 weeks especially, and then this week, saying, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. There is nothing coming out of the club apart from what's been regurgitated and obviously what some people just put out there just to generate interest for their particular website or Twitter account. But the official line is that there's very little coming out of Manchester United in relation to what they want to release, to feed to the press, or what Manchester United are up to. So you can take that one of two ways. We could still be going for the players that everyone thinks, or they could be looking at players that nobody's ever thought about. And as somebody said, as Luke said there, Verratti, Ousmane Dembele, Aubameyang, that's 3 players who everybody knows pretty much are going to move this summer, and there's plenty of others. So there is hope if you are hoping that we're not going to sign the players we've been linked to, for sure. Someone says, is there any chance of Perisic still? Look, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. Eric Dyer, says Stuart Smith, there's a chance Eric Dyer could happen. I think most transfer deals that have been killed off, like Eric Dyer, have been killed off by the press. But wherever that's been killed off, if you look at that press, they'll have reported some nonsense about United as well. So why should we believe that? Why should we believe we're even in for Eric Dyer? But why should we believe that we're not in for him? No, there is no strong source at the moment in relation to Manchester United. I have a couple of people that I trust, but are they getting accurate information? I always felt with Di Marzio, I feel that he has a connection with Manchester United or an agent. And if I was a betting man, I would say that his good connection is probably Mini Raiola, because Mini Raiola was the agent of Pogba, Zlatan and Mkhitaryan, and those 3 signings, Di Marzio was ahead of anybody last summer. Bailly he didn't mention, and obviously Bailly's agent isn't Mini Raiola. So is Di Marzio's link to Manchester United news being accurate based on Mini Raiola? Well, if we're not signing Mini Raiola players, then or is his link to Manchester United George Mendes, because George Mendes is the agent of Mourinho, and Mourinho might tell Mendes, and Mendes might tell Di Marzio. In which case, Fabinho's agent is Mendes. So, but I definitely always felt that with Di Marzio, he's so accurate a lot of the time that he's clearly got something, and I would imagine it might be one of the agents. But that's just my guess at it. He's not really saying a lot about Manchester United at the moment, so we'll see. Morata is like Spanish Harry Kane, says Paul Robinson. Well, that'll do us all right. And Perisic to force move to Manchester United, says Avinash. It's in the Daily Star, but it's not just because it's in there. If Perisic wants to come to Manchester United like Morata wants to come to Manchester United, then it's all right Inter Milan saying, well, we're going to take him off the market. But if you've got a player whose heart is set on joining Mourinho at Manchester United, then you can't really say you're taking him off the market. Let's not forget, Inter Milan can say, we're not selling him for 30 million, we want 45, and now he's off the market. But if Perisic goes to Inter Milan and says, look, I'm not happy, I want to leave, and he basically did say goodbye to the Inter Milan fans at the end of last season, so I do think he'll move. If he forces the move, then Inter Milan have got a problem, because they can say, well, we're not selling you for anything less than 45 million. But if the player forces the move, that may be the next angle. And then there might be an agreement where they meet each other halfway. Cater to Liverpool, says Brandon tomorrow. Do you really think Liverpool are going to spend £70 million on a centre defensive midfielder who's he's had a good season, but I can't see that happening. Jonathan wants us to sign Lukaku and Morata. Well, 2 strikers would be great. Thanks for the contribution, Nicky James Drinkwater. And why is Morata not forcing it? Well, he probably is. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and it's only unless he came out publicly and said, I want to leave for Manchester United, which he wouldn't do because he has got a lot of respect for Real Madrid. What will be will be. But I just do feel that if he has gone back on his honeymoon now and the deal is done, there's no benefit for Manchester United not to announce it pending a medical, because it will give the club and the fans a boost. And you know, if they are in touch with fan opinion and how people are feeling about Manchester United, not necessarily fan opinion, but you know, confidence ratings, etc. Then at the moment, I'd say out of 10, United's confidence rating amongst its community is probably around 5 or 6. If you announce Morata, that's going to go up to 8 or 9. So the club will know that. More shirt sales, more time for shirt sales, all sorts of things. Although people would be stupid to buy shirts at the moment because we're going to change it. And yes. I've said that. Okay. Let me come back. Drop a subscribe if you're new to the United Stand. Bottom right hand corner hologram. We're closing in on 107,000, which is great. I remember when we hit 100,000. Doesn't feel that long ago. And what else was going to say? I need to get my live comments back. Drop a like on the video. Apologies this morning that I didn't do a transfer daily, but I was not in a state to do it. But also I think it was worthwhile not doing it, because I think we're smack in the middle of the transfer window, or the summer. It's June the 30th. We started doing transfer dailies on May the 1st. We'll end on August 31st, so we're smack in the middle. So I think actually not doing one for a day was probably quite good. I felt a bit fresher tonight, more to talk about. And what's definitely going to happen now from July the 1st, tomorrow, is it will speed up. I don't think it will necessarily be as interesting as the last 2 months, because I like the speculation. I like the you know, you don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks is we are going to sign players, and we'll have some cracking shows about that. But they might not be the players we want, so it might not. You know, it's a bit like Christmas, isn't it? The anticipation's better sometimes than the reality. But hopefully we will get what we want, because that's what we all want. But I think it's going to be quite interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Just to give you an idea of what's going to happen with the United Stand, we will be doing the US tour, obviously. That's going to kick in a couple of weeks. Transfer Daily will carry on at 7 AM every morning, Monday to Friday. I will do my Transfer Daily tomorrow, and it'll probably be at 11 o'clock, because the weekend I do it live at a later time, because it's a weekend. So 11 tomorrow. If there are any transfers, whether it's in or out, we go live, and we'll react to that. And then if it happens in the day, on the night time, the 8:30 show will become your show to basically say what you think about the signing. Skype Goldbridge will still be Monday, Thursday, all the other stuff. But yeah, that's how it will work for transfers, because I think they are going to start kicking in now. And the one thing we want to do this summer that we didn't do before is that when a signing is made at 8:30, we want to really just open it up and get your thoughts on the signings, especially if it's someone like Perisic, because you might get someone going, "I really like him." Somebody will come on, "Oh, I didn't want him." So I think it's going to be really interesting, and that's what the United Stand's about, really. We want to get as much as your opinion as possible. So thanks everyone for tonight. I needed the day off today and I've enjoyed it, but it was nice to get back and doing it. Paul Jackson, you never read my comments. I just did. And yeah, I've enjoyed tonight. I've still got a really bad headache. But we'll be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock, unless something happens tonight. I mean, I don't see why the Morata thing couldn't be mentioned at any time. And I never feel like we're going to do something on a Sunday. I don't know about you. I never feel like United are going to announce something on a Sunday. So tomorrow is quite a big day. Maybe Monday at 8 o'clock. I don't know. But I think it's about to get interesting. I know people were getting a bit tired of all the rumours, but the reality is July the 1st tomorrow. That pretty much means any time with these signings. So it is going to start kicking off, and we'll obviously be there with you. So collectively, you're a fantastic community. I'm going to have to watch last night's show, because people just say you've got to watch it back, and I'm sort of like I'm reluctant to do it. But yes, thanks everybody for watching. Let's just double check one thing else before, because you never know what can happen when you're live. Don't want to look at you. Nothing at the moment. Nothing at the moment. So yes, thanks everyone for watching. Maybe back later if something breaks. You never know. Sometimes at 11:30 last night we were live talking about Fabinho offer from Di Marzio. So we might be back. But thanks everyone for watching. Really, really enjoyed it. Keep spreading the word. Keep subscribing. Keep liking. Keep commenting. And keep getting involved. And I shall see you soon. Gungshi says he's watched last night's show twice. If you've not watched it, apparently it's well worth a watch. I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching.